I've got a weak finish, all right? My name's Dave. I've got the greatest job in the world, okay? I'm a mediator, restorative justice worker, and I stumbled into it by pure chance. When I was about 24, I was the chair of a residents' association in South East London, and a community worker that was supporting our tenants and residents group said, I've become a trustee on this thing called mediation. He went, I don't really know what it's all about. He said, but I've got the feeling that because you chair meetings, you might be good at it. So I was curious. So I went along, had an interview, done the training. It was really boring. It was all paper-based. And on the last day of the training, they brought in 2 family mediators, because community mediation was new to the UK back in 1985-86, but family mediation had been going a bit longer. So they brought in 2 experienced family mediators, and on the last day of the training, I said, I'm gonna ditch this, because it's rubbish. This will never work in South London, bringing people together to have those sort of conversations. So on the last day of the training, I asked for 2 people to volunteer to role play. So me and Alma, senior citizen from Peckham, who also thought it was rubbish, volunteered. And we decided to be as awkward and as aggressive and as nasty as we possibly can to show these pair of mediators up. Well, I was gobsmacked. I couldn't understand how this process kept me focused and how he contained me in a way through the process. And I thought, I'm going to hang around, right? Because this is quite interesting. So I decided to volunteer, as some of you lovely people in the room do, and I was working in the City of London, and I got made redundant because our company merged with another company, and I had loads of time on my hands. So I threw all my time into volunteering, and one of the first jobs come up to be the mediator for 5 housing estates in Peckham. So if you don't know where Peckham is, it's where Del and Rodney live, on Fools and Horses, okay? They live in Peckham. So I got thrown into this job, not because I was great, it was only that I was the longest serving volunteer who had more cases than anyone else. That was it. That's how I got the job. And I can remember phoning up my boss's PA, and she in the city, and she said, what are you doing, darling? I said, I'm on the North Peckham estate. I'm dealing with people with firearms and baseball bats. And she went, oh, my love, I'm so sorry. I went, it's great. I mean, it's so interesting, this line of work. Now, what pushed us and changed us was I had to get 10 referrals every month out of 5 housing estates in an area that had a 50% less take-up rate than anywhere else in our borough. So I would have sold my soul to the devil for a referral because I had to hit a target. And I can remember a housing officer throwing me a referral going, do you deal with firearms? And I'm thinking, I've only got 3 cases this month. I went, yeah, of course we do. I can remember walking up to this intercom on the North Peckham estate, just about to press the button, thinking, what do you say to someone who threatens someone with a firearm? Don't shoot the messenger. That's a good one. I might start with that. But it put us under pressure to take any referral. So we started to get cases that had a hate crime element to it, race, gender, religion, all these ones were coming through. And we started to take a bit of flack because people said, why are you dealing with these cases? Because there's laws that deal with this. And it was like, it's not our shout. If people want to use our process and have that conversation, that's their business, okay? If they choose to come in a room and want to talk about the impact that what this person has said and done to them, that's their call, not ours. So we started to do more sort of cutting edge work, especially around antisocial behaviour. So it pushed us in that direction. It was Southwark mediation then. So we were very fortunate to be doing those sorts of cases, and we actually found that the higher level cases you've done, the easier it become to prove to agencies like the police that you could deal with these sort of cases. And the police are very interesting, so I used to go to their parades of a morning, so if they're on the morning shift, the afternoon shift or the night shift, I used to go and talk to them about mediation. And they were a tough audience, because I had long hair and a ponytail then, believe it or not. I was only about 24. So I had long hair and a ponytail, and they'd look at me and go like, look at him, social worker, or whatever, to glare at me. And I started with, my name's Dave Walker, and I don't believe in sending young offenders on safari, because there was an article in the Daily Mail. They'd be like, oh, he sounds interesting, this guy, we'll listen to him. And we said to them, please don't explain what mediation is, Because they would say, what they'd do is they'd put you in a room together and you sort it out. I went, no, please don't say that. No one will ever take it up on that basis. I wouldn't. So all you've got to do is say, I know a man who deals with this sort of thing. Can I give him your name and telephone number? So that's all you need to do. So when I come in the morning, there'll be these little curly up pieces of paper, faxes, probably don't remember it if you're young, faxes curled up with people's telephone numbers and names on them. And I used to phone them up. People used to phone up the centre and say, I've got a problem with my neighbour. I'll go, what are you doing now? And they go, what do you mean, what am I doing now? I went, I can come round now. And I'd go round there and they'd go, you got round here quicker than the police. I'm thinking, I've only got 4 referrals this month. I'll go anywhere for that. So we started to do more cases like that. We started to get contracts with the noise team. We started to get contracts with housing. We got a project, obviously, with the 5 estates in Peckham. People didn't trust the police. People didn't want to be seen as grassing or telling on the other person. So they felt our option was a good option. And I always say, my biggest power is I don't have any power. I'm not going to arrest you. I'm not going to evict you. I'm not going to fine you, okay? But if you want to come together and sort this out, we can. I can remember dealing with a guy down in Rotherhithe who said warring with another family. He went, Dave, he walks his dog at midnight, I'm going to have him shot. And I went, okay. So, if you have him shot, how quickly do you think they'll work out where that come from? He went, not long. And I went, and what do you think they're going to do when they find out and they think it's you? He went, come back at us. I went, right, you just told me you're worried about your wife and your kids. You're just about to trigger something that you don't know what's coming back in the other direction. Or we could try and sort it out. All right then, we'll try and sort it out. That is what mediation is. I can't stand the word mediation, even restorative. It's a conversation we should have had ages ago, but now we've got the chance of doing it. And I think that's the beauty of the work that we do. The whole idea, that's what I loved about obviously contacting Steve, when I see that in terms of what you're trying to do down here and are doing in terms of something. I'm going to give you a physical example. I'm a visual person. This is how I would sum up Portsmouth Mediation Service. They've moved from fighting fires, it's got your logo on there, Steve, do you like that? To fire prevention. And when I was talking to John at the beginning of the session and Steve about what they're aiming to do in terms of putting in structures and practices in organisations, that's your fire alarm, that's your smoke alarm, okay? That's trying to stop that fire. We'll always go and put a fire out. We'd much rather be educating organisations about what they can do. Philip was talking, I'm going to name you now, Phil, in terms of treasure, about money, okay? Let's talk about the cash, shall we? I've become very much addicted to mediation, so I become a family mediator, so dealing with couples separating and divorce, and also was a gangs mediator working on shooting, stabbings and homicides in London. That was trained to us by ex-undercover police officers, like another story. There were 120 gang-related murders in London last year. If they arrest the perpetrator within 7 days, that will cost £2 million every murder, at least, right? So that's 240 million, right? My maths are right. Let's split that in half, okay? Because as mediators, we can't bring people back from the dead, but our role is to try and stop the retaliation coming back the other way. They don't take someone out, okay? So let's say that comes to 120 million, all right? So, 120 million pound that costs London. The Metropolitan Police have caught on to this idea, and they're going to fund gangs mediation. So welcome to Dave's auction house. So, can I hear a bid on how much the Metropolitan Police are investing in gangs mediation? Do I hear $500,000? Can someone give me $500,000? Show of hands, please. $500,000, anyone in the room? $500,000? 1 million? Can we get 1 million over room? We've got 1 million over there. Any advance on 1 million? 2 million? 2 million there. Any advance on 2 million? 3 million? 3 million? No. £120,000. That works out at £10.70 a day per London borough. Outrageous. When people say they can't afford mediation or restorative justice, they can't afford not to, okay? In terms of finances, I'll give you an example. We love our peer mediation work, where we train young people in schools to be mediators. We've been in Bacon's College, which is a secondary school, for about 16, 17 years. And in that time, they've dealt with 3,900 cases in person, right? Ofsted will tell you that when you permanently exclude a child, it costs the local authority £18,000. In an 18-month period in Bacon's, they dealt with 135 cases. 59 of them could have resulted in permanent exclusion. That works out, one school, by doing this, saving the local authority £1 million. You are very fortunate that you're very much respected by organisations and universities and councils. What I would say is you need to be talking bigger figures because you're saving them a lot more money. On a disrepair case alone, so when someone's got damp in their property and the council decides to take them to court, we mediated that for £750. And when I met the solicitor that was representing Southwark Council and said, like, we sorted it out, I went, out of curiosity, how much would it cost the council? He went, £60,000 to go to court. 750 quid they got there for. I was gutted I'd give them 750 quid as a quote in terms of doing it. But we feel what you're doing in terms of embedding yourselves in university is fantastic. We've just picked up a university in our borough, but Bacon's College, for us, the young people in the sixth form, we train them in the sixth form, so they're obviously 16 and upwards. We also give them the opportunity to work outside school in the community alongside adult mediators. So the effect this has on them, since we've been training peer mediators in that school, every single year, head boy or head girl or both, or the management team out the sixth form is populated by peer mediators. They knock the rest of the school into touch because of their communication skills, because they volunteer, what they give to the school. When they go to universities for interviews or they go for jobs, they come away and we go, how did you get on? They go, all I wanted to do was talk about our mediation. It's because it's a unique selling skill, unique skill they've got. And I always say to them, there's 1,000 cello players out there, there's not many mediators out there, that's why you're unique. It changes them. We've got a link, I'll push it through to Steve who can share it. When I can't remember, I think it was our 10th anniversary in there, we went back and we found ex-mediators and we had current mediators, we had parents talking on there, and one girl said, Katia, said, it's in my DNA. We find if we train a young person in a family, their brothers and sisters follow. The record we got at the moment is 4 young people, brothers and sisters, have followed into mediation. Now mum wants to be a mediator. When we've trained young people in primary schools, we went to the end to give out the certificates, and one of the mums went to me, I don't think we'll ever get divorced, me and my husband now. And I went, why's that? She went, well, the other night he wanted to watch Champions League football and I wanted to watch a film. So we're having an argument, and their son, who's been trained as a mediator, went, can I stop you there? Dad, would you like to join me in the kitchen? He took Dad into the kitchen, he listened to his account, took Dad out and went, Mum, would you like to come into the kitchen? Took her into the kitchen, listened to Mum's account, sat them down, he sat on the puffy, they sat on the settee, he mediated them. They're drawn to it. We've had 10-year-olds that have gone to Bacon's College. I never got this when I was at school. Most I had was a debating class if you were lucky. But these young people are getting the opportunity to think differently, and that's the mission that Portsmouth Mediation Service is on, and that's the great mission that you're on. And long may you rock in terms of what you do. I struggle with the word mediation, restorative justice. I change every day, depends who I'm talking to. I might say I'm a community facilitator, or whatever it means. We've done some work in a local park. How am I doing for time, Steve? Give me a countdown. Yeah? Okay, give me a 5-minute countdown and I'll shut up. We've done some work in a local park. We got called down. Local park, Southwark, is in the central part of London. So it's being really developed. Okay, it's prime land for the City of London, Westminster, Canary Wharf. It's bang in the middle of that. So developers are buying up land and building very expensive blocks in our area. So we've got a public park, never been a problem, until they built a lovely posh block of flats right next door to it. And people in the flats, who obviously bought off a plan or went up there and looked out the window at this lovely park before it started to get dark, bought them. And they started to moan about the people that were populating. Mainly young guys in there, young black guys in there, that congregate in the park. They might have a beer, might have a joint. They all meet up there. But then all of a sudden, the police are getting called on them. They're getting their turfed owned, they're searched, they're getting harassed. So someone flagged us up. So I said, well, being ex-gangs media, I need someone to make an introduction for me. So the local police officer, Lorena, best copper in the world she is, she went, I'll get you in, I'll come down there in plain clothes and I'll introduce you to the lads because I know them. I went, lovely. So I'm standing on the corner of the park, she turns up in a police van in full uniform. I'm like, oh, this is going to go down so badly. So she went, don't come with me. So she walked in the park and went, right, who's been saying I'm racist? Right, for a start, I'm thinking, oh, this is getting off on a good foot. So they went, oh, no, Lorena, they loved her. Right, no, not us, no. She went, okay. Anyway, this is Dave Walker, he might be able to help you. And walked off, okay? But the guys went to me, thank God you're here. They went, we can't believe this, we're being hassled by these people. They said, we need to talk to them. We want to talk to them. Okay. So they told me some of their stories. Some of them were caring for relatives, so come 5, 6 o'clock, they're in the park, okay? This is where they socialise. They're in small flats. They haven't got gardens, okay? This is where they congregate. This is where they feel safe, okay, as a group. Some of them were homeless. Some of them were sofa surfing. And I said to them at the time, if I have the opportunity, I'm not going to name you, but can I tell people your story if I get the opportunity? So when I met with the people in the blocks, and again, lots of them were from all over the world. They were in finance, Canadian, American, Russian, all over the world. And one of them said to me, why are they in the park so late? And I said, well, some of them have to stay there so they can then go to McDonald's and buy a coffee and sit in the warm for the rest of the night. You've got people sleeping in bushes down there. So we decided to bring everyone together. We got a selection from people from the park users. We got the friends of the park who do litter picking and planting, and then we got the people in the blocks. And on the day of the session, it dawned on me, I got a bin and I stuck it on a piece of flip chart paper, done a circle, done a funny looking atlas on it, and stuck it on the wall. And I thought, I've got an idea. So I went, right, heritage. Where are we all from? I went, I'll go first. Irish, Scottish. Whacked my post-it on the wall. Everyone started to put their post-its. Russian, Canadian, Caribbean, African, South American. There's only one guy in the room who identified as white English. That was a guy from the Parks Department. Everyone else, and it sort of brought people together to realise our part of the world, don't start me off on the Romans, all get drawn to Southwark and the Thames and where we live. And it was a great leveller. Then we broke them into groups. Park users, friends of the park, people in the apartment blocks. And the mission we gave them was, tell us what you think the other people want. That was the first question. Then you can tell us what you want. And it was a great leveller because they stood up and said, we feel the people in the apartment blocks want peace and quiet. They don't want us to play our music late. And the people in the apartments went, we feel you need somewhere to associate in terms of doing that. And the park users just wanted to love everybody, bless them. Friends of the park. So then we started to talk about timings. And what was interesting was, we asked the people that live in the apartment blocks, what time do you think the music should go off? And they went, about 8:30, 9. And the park users went, what, are you mad? They went, you need to go for 7:30. Well, it was like, really? And they went, yeah, 7:30. Why don't you go for 7:30? We'll go for 7:30, we'll spread the word, okay? So then one of the guys went, I phoned the council, the noise team never turn up, the police never turn up, the parks department never turn up. And one of the girls from who uses the park went, would you like my mobile number? You can phone me anytime you want. I'll get over there and I'll sort it out if there's a problem. And so, there you go, 24 hours. There you go, 24-hour number. They policed it themselves. So we got a Southwark Council sign that actually said the community had come together and decided that this was a park for everybody and that music will go off at 7 o'clock. We've got every different flag from the people of the world, their heritage, and stuck it round the outside to change it from a council sign to something that was community-minded. That's the power of bringing people together. That's what you're going to do with your restorative practices when you go out in the community, or whatever you're doing by the harbour or wherever it is. It's important the work that we do out there by bringing people together. I honestly believe that you can resolve any dispute anywhere in the world. If you go home now and switch on to the news, whether it be Channel 4 or BBC, 80% of it will be conflict and war, right? We will be throwing, any arms dealers in the audience today? Thank goodness. We throw money at war. bombs, guns, tanks. Sooner or later, mark my words, they will have to sit down. After all those guns and all those bombs, all that death, that's what they're going to need to do. I equate it to gangs mediation. Nowhere in London would the police identify one of the sides in a gang dispute and say, his knives, his guns, kill the other side. It's no different. It's identical in terms of dispute. There we go. That was a sign. But that's the way we think. We were talking earlier before it started about our House of Commons and how they shout and scream at each other across the chamber. How embarrassing is that? That's the way we operate. That's why restorative practice is important. So long may you rock in terms of what you do. It's a privilege and a pleasure to be invited down to you. That's why I hunted Steve down in terms of doing that. I hope that we get to work together in the future. I hope I get to witness more of the success that you've got in terms you're doing. If we can be any support to you, we're more than happy to. And love you all. Thanks for listening. That's for you, Steve.